right, how is it going? Excuse me. Happy Sunday for anyone tuning in on YouTube. I hope you're having a great day. Of course, it is Sunday, July 10th when I'm filming this, when we're doing the live. But it is timeless, so the readings will be timeless for you when you see them. Hey everybody, how's it going? My reflection, how's it going? How are you doing? Oh, I need to get some water. My voice is already. Texas Jess, good to see ya. Prince Priestess, hi. Hey guys, how are you doing? Wow, that voice crack. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well as well. Awesome. Good morning. 11:11 live time. Love it. Yeah, they've been having me do that recently. So, good morning. Yeah, and I'm a little bit surprised because I was like, I don't know, I'm already ready. And then, like, for some reason, it always ends up taking until 11:11, then I go live. So, yeah, I'm going to run and grab my water bottle. I'll be right back. Whoa. Okay, I'm back. We're good. All right. Hey, Destiny, how's it going? Thought I had a flute. No, it's a computer. That'd be pretty wild. Excuse me. Should I start getting into the flute? Ooh. I'm glad you're doing well, Destiny. I'm doing pretty well, though. Hey, Jen loves the boy room. How's it going? I haven't seen you in a second. Reiki flute? That'd be awesome. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Thank you. Some Zelda-ish. Yeah. Oh, that'd be pretty wild to do some, like, ocarina or something. Oh, good morning, everybody. Rue Ellen, good morning. Infinite Moon Love, hi, how are you doing? You used to play the flute, Texas Jess? Heck yeah. You'll have to join the band. I can form a Reiki band. Thanks, Destiny, I'm glad to hear it. So I also want to give a shout out to the mods while we're getting started, because Destiny and Texas Jess, well, both of them are awesome, and any other moderators that are here that I'm not seeing, they absolutely make this run more smoothly and just enhance the experience. So I just want to give a thank you to you guys for being here and helping out for however long you're here today. Really appreciate it. Destiny, I used to play the clarinet. I actually still have it. I should pull it out sometime. That'd be awesome. We're just going to start a whole Reiki orchestra. Any fun summer happenings so far? And we'll jump into the reading soon as well, guys. But I like to connect with you guys too. Any fun summer happenings so far? Not really. Just working on projects really is mostly what I've been focused on. So, oh, hi kitty. Oh, I need to make sure you can get out the door. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, I haven't done a whole lot. I'll be taking a trip in August, so that'll be good. But I've been, I don't know, besides just drinking kombucha and getting out in nature, I haven't been doing too much crazy summer stuff yet. Can I give details about the projects? You'll see them soon enough. I'm going to launch them pretty soon. I can tell you one of them is the second Phileumi class. I know, Jen, you've been waiting on that one, so that one's coming up soon, but the other ones I'm going to keep secret until they're ready to go, I think. Book 2, yeah, and there's a lot that's kind of in the works. So we'll see when I launch those or what happens with those, but I'm excited about it for sure. All right. So I'm getting to jump into the readings pretty soon here. Keep busy. Hey, China Moon Girl. Yep, I'm definitely doing my best to keep busy. So live still have Q&A boxes. Can you get yours back? Maybe I can message and see if I can get it back. I will say, like, I think I'd be okay with doing more Q&A channel day as well in the future. I will say, well, what's the best thing for me to say about this one? I feel like this has been, in some ways, better for me, this format. It's a lot less taxing on me than to have, like, the... and this is not anything against you guys at all, or not anything anyone's done wrong here necessarily either, but having the bajillion questions thrown at me and like all the different energies, kind of a lot. And then like sometimes certain people, and I totally understand it, especially if they can't afford a reading, but certain people, like when there's like desperation behind the questions and there's like a lot behind it, it's like it's a sensitive person, I pick up on, at least I am aware of a lot of that. And I think sometimes there's a dichotomy. A lot of people will call energy sensitivity being sensitive. Other people will be like, well, it's awareness instead of sensitivity. So I try to just use the best word that I feel called to use in the moment for it. But it can be a lot with the Q and channel day. So, and I love being able to do it. And in some ways, I love doing it just because I feel like it's, what's the best way to say this? I think I stay sharp either way, so I don't want to limit myself to having to do it to stay sharp, but I like being able to delve into individual questions and just channel answers on it really quickly and move through it. I like being able to do that. At the same time, it's a lot. So, yeah, you don't see more now at the end anymore. Yeah, that's for sure. The fact that you ran it that way for so long was honestly pretty amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and part of the way my guides just kind of kept having me show up was some of it, because sometimes I'd be like, I don't know if I can do it today. They're like, no, just do it. I'm like, okay. So, but I'd always find like I'd enjoy doing it while I was doing it though. Still here for any form. Awesome, yeah. And I'm not trying to say like, definitely not trying to call you wrong for asking about it or anything like that. And I'm glad you're here for any format, 100%. Sometimes I set my own ADHD on a scroll run trying to keep up. Totally understand. Dang, I need my channel open for that discipline. It really helps. There's definitely some things I would stick with maybe longer than some people would just because I was guided to. But I think the other side of that is when you're guided to do something longer than other people, like you still know there's gonna be a window of opportunity or a doorway, like to a better situation out of that one. Like for instance, an example would be like working nights. When I worked nights before I started doing this full time, there were a lot of people that would work nights and just be like out after like a week or two, and they just like had me keep working nights because they're just, I mean, oh, the cats are getting into stuff. Okay, I'm cat sitting right now, so okay. So let's jump into, well, anything else I need to say? But yeah, but it was also like, I knew eventually like I'd get out of that situation. Like that was also part of it. So, okay, but I don't need to keep delving into that. So we're going to jump into the reading soon here, unless there's anything else I need to talk about here. Hey, that's your girl. How's it going, everybody? So anything else before we delve into the readings here? Okay, let's jump in. So we're just going to do what we've been doing the past few weeks. I've got some general messages, so just like a collective general reading. Hi. We've got messages for each of the, just the zodiac by element, so the fire signs, earth signs, air signs, and water signs, and it'll be by sun, moon, and rising. So we've got messages for everyone, messages for the elements, and then we'll see if they have me do a channel at the end or what they want to do to either hang out or just close it out, and we'll just see what happens. So fully flash good. These are just collective general messages, and just it's a reading for everyone that's here. It's timeless for you when you see it. So if you're rewatching this on YouTube or watching this on YouTube for the first time, these will apply to you just as much. And of course, if you're here live, it's for you now. So fully fly is good. Let me see if there's anything they want me to start off with in particular for you guys. So the first message that came through for everyone was just a lot of waking up energy. The message they said, waking up, mass awakening. So going further in awakening, like a lot of realizations about the self and others, realizations about the world. There was like a quick blip. I just got the word like tired. So some of you might be feeling tired. Maybe even like regarding awakening, if it's been a lot, if there's been a lot of realizations, or if you are, and I kind of get everybody is, if you're getting a lot of downloads right now. To me, I know there's a bit of a, downloads can mean a couple different things in like the spiritual community, I guess you could say, where, you know, for some people downloads are like, it's almost like an intuitive message, is like the way some people quantify it. For me, when I talk about downloads, it's almost more like etheric downloads, like just and maybe it can be the other thing, but or it can lead to the other thing. It's like downloads from source coming through and like upgrading me, or just like a lot of information coming through that way, where it's like it's energetic. But it can be both, of course, so you don't have to limit your definition of it necessarily, but there's a lot of that going around, a lot of both going around, you could say, and a lot of upgrading. So if you're tired, I would definitely take time to rest, aside from any action you're being guided to take or that you feel like you need to take. And you'll know if you're supposed to rest because you'll feel really tired. You'll be like, I don't know if I can work right now. Like you just won't. You'll know is kind of what I'm getting. If you feel confused about like, oh, universe is saying do things, but the universe is saying rest, like you'll know when you're supposed to do one or the other, because you'll feel alive enough for taking action, or you'll feel really tired for when you need to rest, is what I am kind of getting to explain the dichotomy of that message, that where it even makes sense for that sentence. So anything else about this waking up energy? So just know like you're awakening further is what I'd say, and there's a lot of that going around, like there's just an energy of that going on, and also upgrading is what I'd say. And I feel like I've said this a certain amount of times, but you might feel like you're becoming a new person, some of you as well, like a lot of the things you used to enjoy, you don't enjoy anymore, but maybe you're still bridging the gap where it's like not everything you will enjoy in the future has come in yet, or like half of it has. So just hang in there. I mean, some of you might be in that place of depression. It's a general reading, of course, but just because you're having that happen doesn't mean you're necessarily depressed, is one thing I will say about that particular message, and I suppose you could say symptom. Because we're kind of bridging worlds a little bit is another message I'm getting, or you know, you guys are, where it's you're venturing into the next world, or you're halfway in between the worlds. But I actually feel like more like you're almost there. I don't feel like you're halfway in between. I feel like you're almost there. So a lot of new coming in for everybody who's seeing this is another message that I'm getting, especially this year. And things are going to move forward really quickly. I think I've been saying that last week as well. For a lot of you guys. So if you feel stuck, I feel like you're getting stuck so that you can get the downloads you need, and then you'll get unstuck and move forward at the right time, essentially, like really soon here is also what I'm hearing, if that makes sense. So the next message I have for you guys here, they showed me a teddy bear, interestingly enough, and they just gave me the message of like comfort. So I almost got a message like it's a healing to comfort and like to your comfort. So the message is you might find that comfort is coming more easily to you, or it's easier for you to access comfort. So I would say there's going to be also the last thing that they said is there is comfort coming. So some of you are getting a healing to comfort in maybe a world that feels a little bit uncomfortable right now in a lot of ways. For others of you, there's comfort coming if you feel like you don't have that at all. And there was a message that came through for one of these signs or elements where it was like, you know, comfort can actually be healing, and just like to take 2 minutes to find comfort. I'll read it when we get to it, but that's another message that came through along with that, just for a particular set of you as well. But maybe it'll be helpful for more of you, so I'll say it now as well. So anything else about comfort for you guys here? And you know what? Sometimes uncomfort is that leading edge to growth and to transition, and it's what we need. But you know, if it's like too much, it can be overwhelming. So it's entirely possible to change with a balance point between those two, where it's the right amount of discomfort and like growth, and the right amount of comfort around that, so you feel like you're okay, if that makes sense, in the midst of change. It doesn't have to be everything's uncomfortable all of the time. And that might not necessarily even be the life you want to live, unless you're someone who's really enjoys that. And there's nothing wrong with that either. The next message I have for you, they just showed me lightning, and just a message, just a reminder that destruction is temporary. So if anything is leaving your life, let it go. Any destruction that is occurring is literally for the highest good. I feel like I've had this message a lot come through, where it's like, if anything is leaving your life, like, it's for the highest good, it's meant to go, something better will come in. I feel like I've been saying that a lot over the past like few weeks, maybe month or even two. So just keep that in mind. It might just be a good reminder for you to have right now. The other message, like, any destruction that is occurring is literally for the highest good. Sometimes it's just helpful to hear when it feels like something's either falling apart or leaving your life, or you're like, why isn't this working? Just hang in there. There's just a bit of a redirect coming in, or a realignment coming in, or something like that. That's good. So I get a weird message like, if anything gets destroyed in your life, I would be thankful. I know that might not be your first reaction, and I don't think the universe is gonna like judge you or come down on you. I know it won't if you're not thankful for it right away. But know it's leading to something. It's not just like destruction for destruction's sake. The next message here is purity. They talked about, so they just said there's more purity coming in for this crowd. So they almost showed me like a weird visual, like a layer of purity, like wrapping itself into the collective, or like wrapping itself, not around, it was like weaving itself into it, or it was like a layer being added to this collective, the collective. And they're saying you will find yourself feeling more pure, or being more pure. So we're all kind of being led to that in our own ways, whether that's an emotional purity, or even like things like mental clarity or purity there, or just energetic pureness. We're all being led to our own purity and our expression of that. So we're bringing that more to the collective, so that source can work through us more purely and be more a part of the collective and the happenings on earth. And I find that a really interesting message, because to me, source is all of it. Source is everything. The way they're explaining it to me, though, is it's going to be working more pointedly through everyone. And the more pure we are, the more that can happen, if that makes sense. Like, just more directly, more pointedly, if that makes sense. So that's an interesting message coming through as well on that one. So we're all being led to purity. And if you feel like certain events happen to you that are like forcing you to like shake things off, or just to let go of certain patterns, or that like really point out just even like ways you're thinking, or some of your patterns, do your best to take that with grace. Again, it's just helping you to shed those things so that you can be led to a purity. And be more of who you are, who you're meant to be as well. That's part of that. There is a bit more on the purity message, so let me see what else they want to say on that one for you guys here. For some reason, they just want to say you guys are meant for purity. It's like how you're meant to be. And sometimes, you know, we're taught we have to be a certain way, or that's not how humans are, or et cetera, et cetera. But anything's possible, and it's possible to be pure. That's something they want to say as well. And that doesn't mean beat up on yourself if you don't feel like you're fitting a certain ideology of what purity is. And I'll say it in case anyone listening in is like having a moment, but I also don't mean like the Christian concept of purity and like clean of sin. To me, sin is just a lot of judgment. It's like, this is right, this is wrong, but it's like, who came up with that? Did God come up with that? No. Absolutely not. Is what I get every time I tune in. So I don't mean a purity in a concept of like right or wrong. I really mean more energetically, more in tune with source, more in tune with your soul, bringing that through more than the human constructs, or the ways we're taught to be that cover that up, if that makes sense. So hopefully that makes a bit more sense and explains purity a bit more, instead of it being an amorphous concept. But The next message here, when giraffe shows up, as it so often seems to do, it really often is about clarity, whether clarity on a path or seeing the path ahead more clearly, or things like that. In this instance, they were playing off of that, and they showed this giraffe with like night vision goggles, which was really interesting. And the message that came through is like, no matter what phase you're in life, like things will be clear, so it's not going to be confusing. So I feel like even if you feel like you're in a moon tarot card phase where things are confusing and you're like not sure what to do, or you feel a bit lost, I feel like you're getting the right tools or the right guidance or something to like provide clarity from wherever you're at. And it reminds me of, I think it came through in the channel that I did last week or 2 weeks ago, when I went full channel mode towards the end of the live. They just said something like everything is always course correcting. And for some reason I want to say like wherever you're at right now is like right for you. You're at the point you're meant to be at, and everything can course correct from wherever you're at to get you to where you're supposed to go. Like there is no really being lost in the grand scheme of the universe. Like the universe knows where you are, your soul knows where you are, and in some level, if you don't feel like you know where you are directly, like you know where you are because you're connected to all of that, and that's all a part of you. You are all of it. So you're never really lost, even if you can have that feeling or if you have that experience, and that's part of what you're experiencing right now. That's okay, but you're going to be pulled out of that pretty quickly if you are there. So anything else for you guys before we move on to the other readings? So they are showing me ice. Why are we getting to ice here? They're showing me like an ice cube. So what's up with the ice? I'm going to ask them to explain this more, because the first line they're giving me is like, oh, if you guys have been like hot, you're going to be cooled off. I know it's summer in the northern hemisphere where a lot of you probably are, but I want to see what they mean by that before I keep going here. The way they're showing it to me is like if you know like a car, like an engine can overheat, like there's this concept called like redlining, where like if you don't shift the car at the right time, if you're driving a manual car, it like starts to redline. They're almost showing that as a way to explain it. So if you feel like you're redlining, or like either like doing too much or feeling overburdened, the universe is going to cool that off a little bit so that you're running optimally and at like the right temperature or the right ways, as opposed to like overdoing it or overburdening yourself, or just like doing too much is the way they're showing it to me. And especially if you feel like you're being like asked of too much, this might just be for a few of you. That's gonna go away a little bit, and it's gonna be a bit more like regular, or like the right amount for you is something I'm getting as well. So anywhere you feel like overburdened right now, for any of you feeling like that, that's going away, that's getting cooled off. And especially if you've been angry as well, is the other way they're spinning this message. So if you that doesn't resonate but you felt angry, or maybe this will be both, like a lot of hot-headedness might be cooled off, or like anger, or just like those emotions or those eruptions are going to be a bit more regulated, is something I'm getting as well. And another message I get for you guys is like, the more calmly you can navigate this time, the better things are going to be. I know there's a lot that's going on that could potentially be angering for people, like the thing that happened with the Supreme Court, things like that. And I totally understand that. At the same time, if you're able to be calm and see things from a higher perspective, it's almost like things get, especially in your personal life, things get worked out more quickly. And things rectify really quickly is what I'm getting. So like something might go south for like a day, but then you show up the next day and it's like, it's just better, or like something else comes in to replace it, or it's like you never really needed to worry in the first place about whatever happened. Like it was a non-issue, even if it didn't seem like it. And that's not what's the best way to say it though? So if you're able to stay calm, things get rectified really quickly, is probably the short way for me to say that as a message for you guys right now. So let's see. Yeah, they're shocked at how much anger keeps popping up. There was a message about anger, just like it's like coming up as like something to be released in one of these one of these collective messages or like a post I made or something. I feel like it was just a few weeks back at the most. So it doesn't surprise me if you guys have been feeling angry or feeling anger. I feel like it's a release, and it's also like a healing in a way as well. Like I'm gonna ask them to clarify this a bit. But our systems that cause anger, what does that even mean? Like they're almost showing it like an emotional circuit board, almost as it's like a healing to our system, it's a healing to our perspective, it's a healing to our emotions is something I'm getting. So. But it's like an anger release from the collective was what I remember originally being. Should we release the anger? Is there a way to release it to stay calm? So let me see here. So part of the message with what was coming through with like the ice was like that's naturally going to be released and rectified. Like that's kind of the phase we're venturing into. As far as like going through like an anger release or anger coming up here for you guys though, like right now or just regarding when anger releases come up, what I'd say is like it's okay to sit with it and feel it, but just know it's like it's a release, or just keep that in the back of your head as you're sitting with it. And as you're sitting with it, it starts to alchemize and transmute is what I'd say, and you start to get the understanding behind the anger, or that comes with the anger. But sometimes you kind of have to sit and feel it and let it burn a little bit at first. So you don't need to like quash it or stuff it down, but if you're willing to sit with it for a minute, it should start to calm down naturally. And I'd also just say like, it's okay if you do feel angry is the other side of that, I'd say. And like realizing it's okay to be or feel angry might help that fade more quickly anyways, in a weird way, if that makes sense. But I'm getting this message like, no, there's like a wisdom behind or underneath the anger. Once you burn it off or feel it, like you'll start to get the understanding and like why you're angry, if that makes sense. Thanks, B. That's helpful and scientifically, somatically correct, I think. Hopefully. So let's see. RL Rise 2, is this a group reading? Yeah, it's a group reading. It's just, it turned a little bit interactive because there were people asking questions about anger when it came up. So it's like an interactive group reading a little bit. But yes. Let's see, water? Yeah, I'm gonna drink some water. Thank you. Okay, so where are anything else for the group before we move on? The last message coming through here, I feel like I brought a similar message through a couple weeks ago. Maybe it just needs to come through again for someone else who's here, or just as a reminder, but they're just showing like a lot of destruction is leaving. So if you've been going through destruction in your life, it's almost over, is what I'd say. And we already kind of brought through a message like destruction is temporary, but the last message they're bringing through for the group here is like, 1 second. That the destruction is leaving. So if you've been going through that, I'm not going to keep going, essentially, which is good. I keep getting this. I also get this message, you're going to have a much better time. So I feel like the next few months is going to have an uprising in how you're feeling in a good way. Like it's just going to be like an uplift, you could say. So I do feel like things are going to feel a bit lighter in your personal lives, at least. Okay, so anything else? And then last message for anyone who needs to hear it in this group. They're showing like grass being cut, but the message I'm getting is like, don't let anyone like cut you down. Like I'd really stand up for yourself. You don't deserve that. Whoever that resonates for, like you don't deserve being cut down by people's words or comments or any of that. And it's okay to stand up for yourself and tell them that essentially, or tell them stand up for yourself in a way that resonates for you and makes sense. So we're going to move on to the fire signs. So if you have a sun, moon, or rising sign that is fire, these messages, this reading is for you. So again, if you're watching this on YouTube, timeless for you when you see it. If you're here live, of course, it's for you now. So we're going to jump into what came through for you guys. I have some channel messages here. Of course, my spirit guides, the angels, and source will bring through any additional information that is for your highest good as I do so. So the The first thing that came through, it did kind of come through a little bit in the general, but it also is coming through for you specifically for some reason is like the word pure. You are going through a purification process. So that's in your mindset, your belief system, even in your physical body for some of you, and your life, etc. So you are going to become more pure in the future. And it's part of your purpose is something I'm getting, like to be pure and to bring purity to the things you're doing. So it's also a bit of like a refinement process for you guys, like especially like with, they're giving me the words mental acuity. I feel like it's, what are they actually talking about though? It's like regarding like your mental processes, your mental state, how you're thinking about things, regarding your emotions. Like you guys are meant to, I think I said this for the general collective as well, but it came through for the fire signs for whatever reason. You guys are meant to be pure as well, is something I'd say is something you're meant to do here. And you're going through that process maybe more than most at the moment is something I'm getting, or you will be soon here. But I feel like you're gonna love it actually. I don't think it's going to be too difficult based on what I'm getting, but I really feel like you're going to love the results and be really glad that you went through it, whatever's going through here. They are giving me the words emotional purge. That might be part of the process. So if you're feeling a bit more emotional than normal, or you feel like that's coming up, or just certain things in your life happen that trigger that, that is a temporary thing. I'd say they're going to be like a few weeks. So I'd say like that's going to happen in the next few weeks. I don't think it's going to be like 10 months later and you're still like, why am I emotionally purging? I don't think that's going to be it. So, which is good here. I'm also getting the term emotional refinement for you guys. What does that mean here? The way they're explaining it is the way you're handling your emotions is refining. So fire signs, you're going to have a more refined way to deal with your emotions. And even like a more refined way to handle like people coming at you is something they're showing me, like people who are throwing anger your way or vitriol or anything like that. You're going to be able to handle that like very directly and very quickly. And they're almost showing it like they're giving me the words like Jedi master, but also like a Kung Fu master, where it's like, or even like Tai Chi, where it's like, you know, if someone comes at someone who's like more of a master of one of those arts, they usually get deflected or redirected or taken care of very quickly. It's just like, you know, like they like block the punch and like hit the trigger point and now that person's down. That's kind of the way, not that you're out here to take people out or anything, but that's almost the way they're showing you being able to handle that scenario in the future for most of you. The next message that came through for you, they just gave me the word new, and there's just a lot of new coming in for you guys in the next 6 months. So new friends, even like followers if you're on social media, people, situations. And there was also a message like a graduation will occur where you are graduating from one phase of life to another, and they just said congrats. So a lot of new is about to come in the next 6 months to go along with that, accommodate that, you know what I'm saying. But you guys are kind of meant to graduate to this next phase, and it's definitely a step up. I don't really feel like any of you are going to be stepping down is what I'd say regarding that. But a lot of new coming in for the fire signs. And I'm also getting this message like you earned it. So for at least some of you, you've earned a lot of the change that's coming your way as a result of this, whether you're actually literally graduating or just graduated or anything like that. The next message I'm getting for you guys as well, along with that, is don't be afraid to take the new road. So what's that about? So if a new road presents itself, maybe it's like a little bit different than what you actually wanted to do, but it's pretty similar, and you just feel like drawn to it, like just take the new path, essentially, take the new road. It's leading you to a victory is what I'm getting. So the next message that came through for you guys, they showed me like a face, and this message was really interesting. I kind of had to sit with it for a second and then move on and then come back to it. But they showed me like they gave me the word face, they showed me a face, and the message I was getting was like facing the proper direction. So if you feel like you were facing one way towards goals, then are turned in another direction, like that's okay. You don't need to always be going for the same thing, and it's also part of the graduation. So I already kind of said it with the message they brought through in between these messages with like the new road. I didn't have that written down, but it looks like I kind of did with this face. So if you feel like you were facing one direction or towards goals and then you're kind of like turned to another direction, or like something else catches your eye is something they're showing me as well, that's okay. Just be okay with going that new direction and facing that new direction. Because your old goals, like if you turn towards a new direction and the universe wants you to, your old goals can surface in a better way later down the better way later down the line. And the way they're showing it to me is like maybe you were headed this way towards your old goals, but you're turned this way towards like new goals, which would be over here. It's like as you go down this new road, your old goals might resurface up further down your path ahead of where you were, ahead of your new direction, if that makes sense. So you're not going to miss out if you take a new direction, is the other message I'm getting for you guys right now. The next message I have here is they gave me the words third eye, they showed me a third eye, and the message I'm getting was like an expansion, so like an expansion to your third eye, so you're seeing more clearly, being more intuitive, also like a refinement to your intuition. Your intuition can grow and expand as you do, and as you keep following the path and working with it, it evolves. I almost want to say it's kind of like its own being. I don't think it literally is, but that's the way they're almost showing it to me right now to describe it. And like you're not the same when you're 5 as you are when you're like 20 years old, necessarily. Maybe there's still like that seed of you in that 5-year-old, or like that core aspect of you, but it's more refined. There's a lot of, hopefully it's more refined. There's a lot of growth. There's a lot of things that have happened, so you're not necessarily the same. I don't think it's the perfect analogy, because I think there's a lot of things that can happen in human life that aren't necessarily the same as you growing your intuition, that just don't quite correlate. But I think you get the gist of the analogy as I'm saying that. But in the same way, like your intuition grows and expands and you uncover new elements of it, new aspects of it, higher aspects, it grows more advanced, it grows more in tune, you get more information, you know what I'm saying. So I feel like that's your intuition is going to be growing, essentially, is one message with that. And as long as you're staying present with that, like it's going to happen, and it's just going to be a natural process for you. And a fun fact that I feel called to say, you can also just ask your intuition you can manifest your intuition being more intuitive, your intuition expanding, being fully accurate. You can just ask for those things, and at the right time they'll show up, and if it's the right time right now, they'll start showing up right away. So just keep that in mind. Totally possible to manifest an expansion to you, what you're doing, your gifts, etc. So that's a free fun fact on growing your intuition. And can there be more to it? Yes, but that's besides the point right now. So we're going to move along. Next message, they gave me the word liberty. So you're going to be, the message I got here is being expanded as far as what you need in freedom. You may be realizing you need to be more free, or realizing what the next steps are for you. So also a message of stuckness leaving. I feel like I say that frequently, but I'm getting it again. So stuckness is leaving for you guys. And you're also realizing what you need to be free, what freedom is to you, or like what the next steps towards freedom will be for you. And when freedom's on the horizon, you'll move towards it. You'll feel drawn towards it. You're going to move in the right directions for it. So an expansion to your freedom is something I'm getting. Whether you're realizing what you need and just taking those first steps, or you're really on the cusp of like stepping into that more fully. You're just venturing towards more freedom. And realizing what that is for you, because it's not always the same. For some people, an office job in New York with a penthouse suite I don't know if an office job would afford a penthouse suite. I don't know. I don't live in New York. But for some people, that would be really freeing. Living in the city, office job, da-da-da. For other people, they just want to live in a van out in nature, and that feels really free to them. And there's nothing wrong with either. It's just like, what is that frequency to you? What feels freeing to you? So a little bit different for each. The next message here, or what else do they want me to say? Okay, more fuel for your growth. So the universe is going to be fueling your learning and growth soon. So your growth will accelerate. You are being, there's also like a weird message, like you're being taught kinder ways. So I need to ask them to re-explain that, because I forgot what they meant. I knew what they meant when they bring it through, but I don't remember what they meant right now. So I'm going to ask them to explain that a bit more. So what does that mean? They're saying you're going to be taught kinder ways to grow. You might also be being taught ways to be kinder to yourself, was another thing that was coming through for some of you as well. But the main message here is like the universe is going to be like adding more fuel to the fire as far as like you learning, you growing, even like you moving forward as well. Like they're showing a steam engine and like getting more fuel for that, and like a steam engine starting to gain momentum is something they're showing me, interestingly enough. So I want to see if there are any other messages for you guys before because I didn't have like a ton prepared for the fire signs, so I want to see what else I want to bring through for you guys while I'm sitting with it here. The next word coming through for you guys is to relax. They are showing me like the Coca-Cola polar bears, and this polar bear is like relaxing with the Coca-Cola, and it's something they're showing me as well, interestingly enough, with that. I do feel like you guys are being called to relax in some ways, or to chill out, or it's like important that you do, even if it's like an hour a day for however long you remember to do it, I don't know, the next week or so. Sometimes like our relaxation is our processing. It's like when we relax, we just start to process things energetically, or we have time and space to process things. So I would do your best to, if you can, if it fits what you can do for yourself right now, just take some space to relax, even if it's just like an hour a day or something like that. Before bed is probably good, but whenever works for you is something I'm getting as an additional message here. They are showing me the crystal jade, interestingly enough. I haven't seen jade come up in a reading in a second, so let me see what's up with jade here for you guys here. For some reason, the words they're giving me are an expansion to your health. And jade can be a crystal that works with health, wealth, abundance, good luck. So really cool crystal. But they're really focusing on, did I say expansion to your health? That's really interesting. So let me see what they say about that. The way they're showing it to me for you guys is like you have more avenues to health opening up, whether it's like living more healthily or like realizing what you need to be healthy. Maybe you thought there was like you had to do X, Y, and Z to be healthy, but then there's like 5 other ways that open up, and so you have a bit more of an expansion in that arena. I feel like a lot of you are going to be feeling healthier. Of course, I'm not a licensed physician, so disclaimer there, but just keep that in mind. I feel like there's more avenues to health coming in for you if you felt limited in that way. That might be it as far as what I have today for you guys, but I'll see if there's more before I move on here, or anything else that would be helpful for you here right now. It's really interesting because they're showing me like a forest fire and a bunch of people like running away from this forest fire. So what's up with this visual here? One message for you guys right now is it might just be time for you to bring the fire and for you to bring some of the destruction. And burn certain things down, but only if you feel called to. Like, maybe it's time to leave a certain job, and use your own discernment on this one. Or maybe it's time to burn away a certain relationship I get. I don't feel like it's necessarily about that, though. I feel like it's more like burning away a certain job or circumstance in your life that's really constraining or like confining to you. And realizing like you have permission to burn certain things down in your life if they're not serving you. You don't have to just like take it over and over again. So I feel like in some ways there is some destruction coming, but you're the one causing it. But it's actually like, it's a good thing. It's like leaving a toxic situation or something like that. Or maybe you're building a business and it's not working, and you burn it down, and the phoenix rises from the ashes and you start the next business that flourishes, something like that. So don't be afraid to burn things down is what I'd say, fire signs. I know they're kind of playing off that analogy of fire and burning and fuel to the fire, but sometimes they do that and it's fun. So I'm not complaining. Anything else before we part ways here? They are showing me air. I don't think I'm supposed to go to the air signs next, but where are we? They're showing me like a crystal and it looks like air. So what's up with air here? I do feel like you're getting more fuel to the fire of the things that need to burn in your life, if that makes sense. But I feel like in this case, it's not like burnedness and destruction. I feel like in this message, it's like the things that need to like grow and kind of conflagrate, if that makes sense. Is that the right word? I don't know. Maybe coalesce is the better word, but whatever. So more fuel to the things that need to grow as well. And air is the fuel for fire, So anything else for you guys? I feel like that's it. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope that was helpful and made sense with all these messages kind of coming through for you guys right now. I'm going to not quit while I'm ahead, but I think I'm going to move on before I start getting mixed up in the messages here at the end. So we're going to move to the earth sign, sun, moon, or rising. So if you have an earth sign that's a sun, moon, or rising, we're going to move to the earth sign. It did? Awesome. Glad to hear it. Can anyone please tell me what we're doing this morning? So as far as this one here, yeah, so we did, we're just doing channeled timeless readings just by zodiac element, essentially. We just finished fire signs, so we're going to move to earth. We did do a general collective as well at the beginning. This will be up on YouTube eventually as well. If you want to, you can check that out in a future time, and this should be up. And these are timeless, so you'll see them at the right time. But we're moving to the earth sign, sun, moon, and rising. I'm going to wave so I know when to timestamp it. Hopefully that's helpful to me and getting the timestamps for YouTube. But if you have an earth sign that's a sun, moon, or rising, this is for you when you see it. Of course, if you're live here with me today, it's for you right now. The first message that came through for you guys was they gave me the word pounding, and they showed me like something like pounding. So one of the messages for you guys is like a lot more success is coming in. So keep moving forward, keep pounding. So it's not really a good time to dilly-dally. So don't put your time towards things that aren't fulfilling you or moving you forward. Rest is one thing, it's okay to rest, but like wasting time is another. So you don't need to go on a Marvel Avengers marathon, tomorrow when you should be working on your business or spending time with the people that matter to you, if that makes sense. So not a good time to like waste time. I'd really do your best to be on the ball with like tasks, even like daily tasks, but also like tasks of like what you want to be doing and where projects, things like that, business, anything like that. It's a really good time to be on the ball and keep moving forward. And I get this message like this is your opportunity. So that might be a little bit different for each of you. Well, let's see what that means here. I feel like this is your opportunity to move forward if you want to move forward, either like right now or soon after you're seeing this. So when you know it's your opportunity to move forward, I would take action and move forward essentially, and don't waste it. And you won't like regret it forever if you waste it, as another message coming through. Like if you feel like you make a mistake on it or whatever, there's going to be more opportunities. But if you want to seize the day, now's the time. Next message I have for the earth sign, sun, moon, and rising. They give me the word truth, but they also show me like truth, like a spill, like either a paint can spill or like a water bucket spill. And the message here is like there's a lot of truth telling coming your way. So both you might be doing a lot of truth telling, but also from other people in your life or in general. It could even be like on a broader scale, like in the world as well. But when the truth is spilled, move forward in the right ways. For that is an opportunity to know what to do. When truth is revealed, make sure you are moving forward in accordance with that truth. Don't ignore it. A lot of truth is coming out. So sometimes like if maybe you're not sure what to do about a relationship or a job, but then like your boss tells you something, you're like, oh yeah, watch out, like some of these divisions might be closing down in a few months, and you're like, oh, I need to start looking for a job. Or it's like maybe someone you're in a relationship with like confesses something and you're like, oh, I should really listen to that and not just ignore it, if that makes sense. Like I should take action accordingly, and if someone cheats on you, leave them, or whatever you do, whatever your boundaries are in those situations. So don't ignore the truth when it comes out, and take action accordingly. Like that's your chance to like make the right move, is something I'm getting. But I'd say like you probably need to pay attention when that's happening. So I'd pay attention to what people are telling you, especially like in important conversations. I'd do your best not to zone out during those. Like it's kind of important that you're paying attention right now, especially to the people around you and the things they're saying. Because it's like, there's also just a lot of truth like underneath what people are saying or between the lines, but I feel like it's going to be very blatant as well. I don't think it's going to be super hidden. The next message that came through, they just gave me the word perfection, and there was a message to avoid perfectionism. So do as well as you can, but if you find yourself waiting to get a certain project done in order to get it perfect, that is your cue to just do your best and get it done. You can always revisit it later for most things. I feel like regarding this reading, it's like regarding this reading, you can revisit any of these things later. Regarding this particular message, like if you feel like you're procrastinating because you want to get it perfect, like that's your cue to just get it done. So I liked that because it kind of gave you like a little bit of a sign to take action in a certain way if you notice a certain thing happening to yourself regarding that. But I would definitely avoid perfectionism right now. I'd be focused on completion, and like, yes, I think excellence is a good thing to strive for. but perfect to you in a year might not be perfect to you now, is another message they're giving me. So maybe nothing will ever be perfect, with depending on you and your perspective and what you either judge as perfect or consider to be perfect. So try not to put that on yourself or your projects, and try to get things complete to the best of your ability, and trust that that's enough. And as long as you're doing your best, it's enough, is what I'm getting as well. And you can always tweak things later as you go along. So anything else in that? Nope. The next message, they showed me a bear, like the animal. And this one symbolized divine protection. So the message is, there's a lot more divine protection around you than you realize. Trust that you are protected. You have an army, not just one soldier. That was like an analogy they used. Like, you might feel like you just have like, I don't know, Bart from the infantry is your only divine protection, but you actually have a whole army analogously. I'm gonna look up how to pronounce that word. Anyways, it might even be better than that. Like, don't limit your divine protection to that. You're like, oh, I thought I was more divinely protected than even that. So yeah, you are. But as long as you are on the road you are meant to be on, nothing can harm you. Just ask to be on that road and you will be. So the message is essentially you're divinely protected, and way more than you realize. And it's not necessarily limited. So I know, like, sometimes with these analogies, like, an army can only be so big, in theory. So you might be more divinely protected than that. Maybe you're infinitely divinely protected, and you're always held in the arms of the divine and watched over, whether you realize it or not. But the other message that I wanted to bring through is, like, as long as you are on the road you are meant to be on, nothing can harm you. So the last thing I want anyone to do when they hear that is freak out and be like, oh, am I on the right road? I don't know. Don't worry about that. You are, is what I'm getting for the vast majority of you tuning into this, Earth sign, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or Rising. But the other thing you can do is, like, ask to be on the highest and best road for you to be on, ask to be on the road you're meant to be on, and the universe will shuffle you to it if you're not already there. And no one's where they're not supposed to be is the other thing to consider. So I'd say as long as you're trying to move forward in the highest and best ways and directions, you're fine, is the thing I'll say about that. The thing I'm being guided to say about that, I should say. The next message, so they showed me the regular bear. Now they showed me a polar bear. I know polar bears and the Coca-Cola came through for the fire signs, but I don't know, I just roll with it. The message with polar bear was, like, you are not going to be put on ice, so the pause is ending. So if you feel like you've been put on a pause, or they're also showing, like, the hangman from tarot, which is like the hangman puts himself on hangman mode so he can gain clarity and enlightenment, either about, like, how to move forward or the best ways to move forward or anything like that. And that's, like, another way to explain the message, essentially. But I feel like you're going to have forward momentum back, and it's going to be quick. So forward momentum is going to be quick. You're going to be taking off the pause, off the ice. Things are going to start moving forward for you pretty quickly. They're also showing me, like, a message. They're showing me, they like to use the train right now for that analogy today, I guess, because there's a train just moving forward. But along with that, they're giving me the words like spring thaw. So I feel like some of you might have felt like you've been in a winter period, or maybe more than some of you, but at least some of you have felt like you've been in a winter period where it's like you don't have as much abundance, or things aren't moving forward. I feel like you're actually not. I feel like it was just a temporary pause to, like, work certain things out, or it was about divine timing, and for some of you, divine protection in some ways. Maybe not so much the divine protection part, but you're about to move forward more quickly. Next message they just showed me fire. They showed me, like, a torch with, like, a fire. They gave me the word fire. They said your inner fire is being lit and you are being ushered forward in a bigger way. So things will take off soon. So let me see if there's anything else on that one here. So especially if you've been, like, waiting for something to happen and nothing's happening, and you're waiting for something to happen and nothing's happening, and you're waiting for something to happen and nothing's happening. I feel like that thing's actually going to happen soon, is something I'm getting for you guys as well, which will be good. The next thing they showed me a spaceship. So the next message for you guys was, like, leaving behind the familiar. You may be venturing into new territory soon. This is encouraged. If you don't leave behind the familiar, how will you get to where you want to go? Move forward. Try new things. And by trying new things, they even gave examples, like, it could even be small for some of you, like restaurants, tactics, dating styles, projects, anything. But especially regarding the things you want to do, I would be trying new things. Like, if you're trying to build a business, and it's just not happening, try something new, try a new idea. You don't have to do the same thing over and over again, essentially. And for some of you, if that's working, that's okay. But maybe you can try something new in addition to that same thing you're still doing, if that makes sense. But you're being called to leave behind, I'm getting a really intense message, like you're being called to leave behind all that you know. I don't think that's necessarily the case for all of you. I feel like you might be moving towards something unfamiliar really quickly, and I feel like it's something that's like destined for you, a lot of you. So I'd be do it. And I know we've talked about comfort and discomfort already in like the general messages, but for you, I would get a little bit comfortable with being uncomfortable. For the new, just for the near future at least, I feel like it'll serve you well to be like leaning into that growth edge of discomfort to the right amount for you, or at least for the degree that's right for you. That's the right way to say it. So anything else for the Earth sign, Sun, Moon, and Rising that would be nice for you to bring through at this time here? I do get a message that obstacles are leaving, which is really good. They're almost showing it like, they were showing me like a mountain, but then like parts of the mountain were like falling away. It might have been like an avalanche or something as well, if that's a sign for anyone, but I feel like obstacles are leaving is the message I'm getting with that. That's the words they're giving me. So anything else for you guys right now here? They're showing me a rabbit as well. So what's up with this rabbit? For some reason, the way they're showing me with this, the thing they're showing me with this rabbit is like this rabbit is it's like the concept of how rabbits reproduce really quickly, if is the PG way I can say it, because it's like you start with like 2 rabbits and like maybe you don't feel like you have as much as you want, but then all of a sudden there's like 5, and then all of a sudden there's like 20, and then all of a sudden there's like 100, then all of a sudden there's like thousands. It's like it's almost like things might be expanding really or moving forward really quickly for you, or more quickly than you realize, even if you don't feel like you have much to start with, is one thing I'm getting for you guys. So even if you don't feel like you're there or where you want to be, like it doesn't matter, like just keep moving forward, and like that abundance will come in for you. The thing you're moving towards will come in for you. Or if that's not the right thing, you'll be redirected towards what is pretty quickly, and it's not far off for most of you is what I'm getting either than what you're moving towards, and that'll just happen. It'll expand into it. So they are showing me a telescope next, interestingly enough. And what's this message about here? One of the messages for you guys, Earth sign, Sun, Moon, and Rising, is like, especially like regarding like astrology, don't worry about planetary movements, just do your thing. You're gonna naturally align to what you need to align with, and sometimes people can get in their heads about like, oh, this planet's direct, but this planet's in retrograde, so I can't do this, this, and this, and they're saying like, no, do your thing. And don't worry about it. It's going to work out naturally how it needs to. And sometimes it's good to be aware of those things, but don't let it dictate what you're doing down to the finest detail, because you don't know what else is going on collectively or what the divine has in store for you. And sometimes people can move forward in really big ways in Mercury in retrograde, or really big things can manifest, or things that don't seem to fit the definition of those planets specifically. Like can still happen. So they're saying like, don't put yourself on pause just because a planet is retrograde or there's some transit happening. Don't worry about any of that. Just move forward. Like you're going to be fine, is a message for some of you as well. Because sometimes people get in their heads about those things, and then like they just screw themselves, essentially is what I'm getting. But so don't do that. There's one more for the Earth sign, Sun, Moon, and Rising before we move forward. They're showing me a triangle. And they're giving me the word reshaping, so one second. There is just a message like things are going to reshape for you guys like really quickly. And they're showing it, and I'll get them to explain it more. I'll ask them to explain it more as well. Because they're showing it as like maybe you're looking at one thing and all of a sudden it like reshapes into something else really quickly. Like you're looking at a triangle and then it's like an octagon, and then it's like a square, and then it's like this ridiculous shape no one's ever seen or heard of before. So what's that about for you guys? Here's what I get. There's going to be a lot of situations in your life that are like shape-shifting, potentially like really quickly. Like just keep moving forward and these things will shape-shift into exactly what you need. So you don't need to really worry about how things look externally right now. You're really being called to take action and move forward and trust that things will redirect or shape-shift into what you need as you do so. And there's also this message they're showing me, like the universe can be fluid, like the universe can like change shape and like transform. And like everything around you is more fluid than you realize. It doesn't mean everything's about to dissolve into goo or anything like that, or your situations are going to dissolve into goo. It's more like things are more changeable than you realize, and you might feel like things are stuck a certain way, but one action changes everything. And as you take like, it's like a kaleidoscope in a way, like as you take one action, like everything shifts, and you take another step and everything shifts, but everything shifts exactly how you need it to with each step you take, if that makes sense. I don't feel like I'm totally nailing this message as I keep talking, so I'm going to ask them to summarize it in the best ways for you guys. And then we'll land with that. Okay, here's how they're simplifying it. If you keep going, everything turns into what you need it to be, so just keep going. Okay, I think we're going to move on to the air signs, sun, moon, and rising next here, unless there's anything else for Earth to summarize it or to help you guys out right now. For the Earth signs, one of the last things I'm getting here is like they're showing me like a bubble gum bubble that someone's blowing, and like you're almost like waiting for this bubble to pop, but then it doesn't pop. It just keeps like expanding and growing and like getting bigger, but it's like this unlimited bubble in a weird way. So what's this message here? I feel like you're afraid of certain things in your life popping that aren't going to pop. So, and it's okay to have that wariness or feel that wariness, I suppose you could say. They actually don't recommend it. They're saying don't. But there's certain things in your life you think aren't solid that actually are. It could be a job or a business or a certain amount of stability. I feel like you're totally fine. So for some of you who need to hear this, stop waiting for bubbles to pop and like take action. Like they're not going to pop. Like you just need to move forward. So I don't know who needs to hear that or what you'll feel like that applies to, but that's what I'm getting as well. Like things aren't going to pop or like just disappear. Like things are going to change, but things are like solid enough that they're not just going to like pop overnight or something. So we're going to move to the air signs, sun, moon, and rising. So I hope that was helpful for the earth signs, sun, moon, and rising. So if you have an air sign, sun, moon, and or rising, this reading is for you. It's timeless for you when you see it. If you're rewatching on YouTube, I'm going to wave so I know when to timestamp it. But if you're watching it now live, of course, it's for you now. The first thing that came through for the air signs, they showed me a tornado. And I'm getting this message like if anything has been ripping your life apart, it's leaving your life. So things that have been ripping your life apart are leaving, whether it's been just something causing destruction, a person causing destruction in your life, a job or something like that. The things that have really been like harming you or like harming your circumstances are going away, essentially, like pretty soon here. They're showing me something like the next 3 months. It could be well before that, by the way. It could be tomorrow. But for some of you, just know it's within the next 3 months that's happening. The next thing they showed me was like rainbows and sunshine. They showed me that. They gave me the words. I got the concept of that. The message they brought through is after the storm comes the rainbow. Things are going to lighten up for you guys, which is good. I feel like the air signs, sun, moon, and rising. Week 2 of a tornado. Yeah, I know. I think tornado showed up last week too. But let's see here. For the air signs, sun, moon, and rising with rainbows and sunshine. I'll just reread this in case I didn't read it. After the storm comes the rainbow, things are going to lighten up for you. Yeah, I read that. So just know things are going to lighten up for you. So if you feel like there has been, okay, that's what I was going to say. I feel like the past few like weeks of me doing this with the air signs, like the air signs reading has just felt a little bit like less fun and like less, maybe it seemed a bit less light with like the messages coming through. And maybe some of you have been totally good, and I absolutely hope that for you. And the messages just resonated in a different way. But that being said, if there have been storms in your life, after the storm comes the rainbow, things are going to lighten up for you. So I do get things are going to be lighter for you air signs going forward, which is good. I feel like you're going to be feeling a lot better, and that like a lot of burdens have been removed, and even that a lot of restrictions have been removed as well. And you might also, I'm getting the words, you might be feeling more free to be yourself. Like you'll feel free to be yourself. and feel less hindered in doing so is something I'm getting. I also get the message the path is opening wide for you guys. If your path has felt restricted, or you felt like maybe it seemed like certain other people were just like traipsing along their really smooth path and just like riding their bicycle joyfully down the way to their destiny, and everything looked great, and you were just like, I mean, your path looks like rocky, and you have to like climb over this boulder, and you have to like sidestep this stalagmite, and there's this wave of bats you have to worry about coming out of this cave, and then there's like a snake, and you're like, what is going on? I feel like the road is opening up for you guys where you have like a smoother period. It actually just looks like a field. And you know, if you're they're showing it as you riding a bike through a field. Like if you're riding a bike through like a field, maybe it can be a little bit bumpy. There's like clumps of grass that like just sit weird with the wheels as you're going. But it's not going to be like rocky. I feel like it's just going to be like maybe a little bumpy here and there, but it's like, it's expansive, it's wide open, you have freedom. Freedom seems to be a theme in this reading for a lot of you guys, but you're able to just kind of like move a bit more, and it might not be as smooth as you want, but it's better is what I'm getting. So improvement. Next message I have for you guys here is they gave me the message of inner healing. So if you are doing your inner healing work, things are going to improve very quickly for you. I feel like I've said this either for you or one of the other signs like a lot recently, but even like 10 minutes of meditation could be life-changing for the better if you do it with consistency. Any type of healing is going to be really helpful for you right now. So I'd really be focused on like your inner healing. I don't care if you just book a massage or just do, it could be really simple, but that's just going to help you guys improve your life really quickly. Is any type of inner healing is something I'm getting for you guys here. They're also showing me a message about stability. So what's this message for you guys about stability? I feel like you guys are moving into a situation that is stable, or will be moving into a situation that is stable soon. If some of you have felt like you've just been like hoping and praying, I feel like you're not going to feel like you need to just hope and pray anymore. It's like you have either something to show for your efforts, or you feel like you're actually moving in the right direction is something I'm getting as well, which is good. So some type of stability coming in for you guys, or a feeling of stability, or knowing you're going to be stable if you don't feel like you're stable yet. And some of you already have stability, but think of a specific situation where that doesn't apply, and they're like that. So if you were like, I feel like things are pretty good, just maybe there's like just one thing that applies to. So it's going to be a bit different for each of you, of course. The next thing they showed me, they gave me the message, the word gentleness, and they just said the universe is being gentle on you, or is going to be gentle on you soon. So you're going to find things become more gentle on you and less abrasive. I'm not saying that the universe has been totally gentle on you, but I feel like it's going to be more gentle on you if you feel like it hasn't been. Or if you already feel like it has been, I feel like it's going to be just even lighter is what I'm getting. Especially with healing is what I'm getting in. Sometimes we have things that like trigger us to bring the healing up, or just force us to do certain work on our trauma, or things that are really intense. And sometimes it can be a lot at once depending on your destiny and what you need to go through to become the person you need to be. I feel like the healing is becoming gentler for you guys though. So instead of being tossed about in the ocean, it's floating in a pond is the way they're showing it to me. Next message I have here is fun. So if you're not having fun, air signs, they're like, what are you doing if you're not having fun? So do your best to try to have fun soon if you can. It is a great time to bring that frequency into your life. Party, do something silly, but don't rot and wait for your chance to do something big and not have fun in the meantime. So if you're someone who has been wanting to do something big, and you just feel like you're waiting for your time and waiting for your time and waiting for your time, waiting for your time, like don't just sit and like commiserate in that or rot in that. Like go out and have fun, or do something with your life while you're waiting to, if you're waiting to be successful, like do something with your life while you're waiting to be successful. If you're waiting for something big, go have fun while you're working on things, or waiting for things as well. It's important that you're enjoying your life and the process of your life, and not just like waiting for things to happen. For any of you who need to hear that, that might not be a message for all of you, but it's just something that's kind of coming through right now as well. So just a reminder to go and have fun for the air signs, sun, moon, and rising. So the next message coming through, this came through for the earth signs. It also is coming through for the air signs, truth. So what they said, so more truth telling is coming your way. So a lot more truth rising. They're also showing like there might be a minor spill of truth. So you might just have someone who's just like spilling little truths, or it's like maybe it's not as. I mean, if you have air signs and earth signs and you're watching both of those readings, it might just be confirmation like, yeah, there's a lot of truth coming your way. For the air signs, they just, for some reason, they gave me the words minor spill of truth, so I don't know how big it's going to be, but we'll just keep going with the message here. What they said is, there's a lot of truth coming to help you heal and move forward. Sometimes people look at things the wrong way. However, the universe is going to rectify this for you so that you get your ducks in a row and are moving forward in the best ways. So they did show this as well as like, it's difficult to describe. Well, I'm just going to ask for the best ways to describe the visuals I get and just that I bring these messages through in the highest and best ways. But they did show me a visual and like this message of like you maybe looking at a certain situation in your life or like a puzzle in your life the wrong way, or you had this personal wrong, or you thought you had to do XYZ to be successful, but you actually need to do ABC, or maybe you need to do YZX and just do it in a different order. Kind of difficult to describe exactly what they showed me. I just knew that's what they were showing me, because there's a message that comes along. I get the intuitive visual. They gave me the words. They explain it to me clairaudiently. I get the knowing of what the message means. Like there's multiple angles they're throwing at me at the same time to get a message across. But you're going to be seeing the truth of how things actually are, or how you actually need to do things, so that like if the way you're looking at something is incorrect, you're going to be shown the right way to look at it, so you can just move forward in the right ways regarding it, or so that your ducks are in a row and you're just doing a lot better. And so you're not stuck as well. Next message, they showed me the word alchemy. They said there's a lot of alchemizing of the past right now for you guys, so you are being called to alchemize the past. If you are sitting with yourself and putting your awareness on what has transpired, it will alchemize. The future is bright. You are not stuck with a crappy future. Trust that. So one of the messages for you guys here is, if you want to alchemize something from the past, is literally just maybe even meditate on it. If like things are surfacing memories, just sit with it, put your awareness on it, and just see like what shifts. Like, do you get messages about it that are intuitively? Do you get claircognizant realizations? You're like, oh, that person was totally like this. I didn't realize that. That makes so much sense. Or does the past somehow transform, like the way you feel about it transform? I just feel like the message that came through was you sitting and putting your awareness on the past, or like a certain event, a certain relationship that's just coming up, or that's like feels like it's sticking you. It's going to help to alchemize that more quickly. It's also going to help your healing. And I'll say it because it did come through earlier, but it's reminding me of that, like, hey, like even just 10 minutes of meditation each day could be something that helps change your life. Which sounds really simple, and it kind of is, but for some reason that is important for you guys to think about or consider doing. The other thing that they wanted to say for you guys about like that bright future, and I think is important, is like you're not stuck with a crappy future. I really don't even get you're going to have a crappy future. I feel like you guys have a great future, and they're kind of saying that. So, but they just said, hey, like call upon a bright future and you can have the bright future that's right for you. Like you can manifest a bright future. You're not stuck. Are there certain destinies that are destined for us, certain events? Yes, absolutely. But you're not stuck with a crappy future. If you think you're going to have a crappy future, you're not stuck with having crappy things happen to you all the time. There's ways to heal things and move on. And there's ways to upshift your timeline so that you get the best possibilities of events and not the worst case scenarios, is something I'm getting as well. So it might be good to manifest a bright future, or just ask that your future gets better in some way. And that's a whole other topic that we could talk about. So there is more for the air signs, sun, moon, and rising. What else is going on here? Just a reminder to be really gentle with people right now in your life, even like with yourself as well. I feel like you're going to get better outcomes in your relationships, or even in like jobs, if you're being gentle with people. And I feel like people will be more understanding towards you if you're being gentle with them as well. And sometimes it just takes a listening ear for a few minutes to hear someone else before providing your point of view, for people to like receive what you're saying and not just like fight what you're doing or fight what you're saying, if that makes sense. So that's just a message that's coming through as well for you guys, a piece of advice, I guess, regarding relating to other people. So what else do you guys need to know about right now? What else would be highest and best to come through for you guys right now? It's it's really interesting, and I don't want you to freak out about this message, so I'm going to see what else they have to say about it before I totally bring it through. So give me one more second to sit with this message before I say it. Okay, they actually just want to give me a different message. Sorry about the pause. One second. Okay, weird side message for maybe even just a handful of you, but if you feel like shunned by someone in particular, or you feel like shunned by a group, just move forward in the other direction. Just move forward in the other direction, move on, and they'll come back around to something I'm getting for most of you. Like that person is just going to come back around if you move on or move forward. Weird message, but also if you feel like you got shunned by like a group or like by different people, or by a person, like don't try to like squeeze your way back in. Just don't, leave it be, move forward. It's going to lead to the best possible outcomes regarding that is something I'm getting. And sometimes when people are shunned, it's just so that they move forward, if that makes sense. Like in the modern day, if you're shunned, the universe is just trying to get you to move forward, essentially. It is nothing personal at all for anyone who that resonates with or applies to. So that's something that, what if you don't want them to come back? The words I get are, it's your choice regarding that situation. So if someone shunned you and you don't want them to come back, it's your choice whether you let them back in or not. You definitely don't have to take them back. But I feel like this message is more for like those of you who were shunned by someone like really important to you. And again, I don't think that's going to be everybody here. So anything else that would be highest much for me to bring through for this air sign, sun, moon, and rising here? I already brought through this message. They just said like destruction is leaving. Like you're not going to have so much destruction as before. I feel like what you're also going to find regarding the destruction that's happened recently, or at least some of it, is that it was actually cleaning up your life, not hurting you. And sometimes it looks like it's hurting us because it kind of destroys things we identify with. But it wasn't really hurting you. It was just cleaning things up so you have the right path ahead for you. I feel like I've been saying this like every live, but I'm going to keep saying it until they don't need to bring that message through anymore. But I do feel like there is confusion leaving for you guys. And you might not feel like you're in like a sun tarot card period yet. And that's the best card of the deck, like happiness, joy, fulfillment, really good things. You might not feel like you're in a sun tarot card place yet in your life, but it's coming. Like you might have to go through the cloudy period before the sun comes out, or work through a few more things. But you're not like bereft. Things are going to improve, if that word makes sense. That's just what I'm hearing. So I think that's it for the air sign, sun, moon, and rising. I'm going to probably move on to the water sign, sun, moon, and rising, unless they want to sneak through any last second messages. But I hope that was helpful and made sense and resonated. So I'm going to drink some water here. Oh my gosh. I think I might be getting sick. So I'm not sure about that yet though. One-winged firefly. So is this person who shunned, is it a love person? It could be. I think it depends on the person. And if that message felt like it resonated for you, you're welcome. So we're going to move to the water signs. Sun. Is there one more for air? I think it's Destiny. I appreciate it. But I hope you guys have I hope that resonated. Hope that made sense. I hope you have, I hope that was helpful as well. We're going to move to thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So we're going to move to the water signs, sun, moon, and rising. So I'm going to wave so I know when to timestamp it. So if you have a water sign that's a sun, moon, or a rising in your big three, this is going to be for you when you see it. So if you're watching the YouTube replay or rewatch, or it's the first time watching it, it's for you then. If you're watching it now, of course it's for you now, live. So next message here is For the water signs, the first thing they showed me was flow. So things are going to begin flowing more quickly for you. You are going to be having a better time is one thing I'm getting as well. I'm also getting a message of like just certain things being worked out of your system, like whether it was certain like blocks or like things that have really been sticking you, like even in like your belief system. I feel like that's getting worked out. Like there's going to be a bit more of a flow to, weird message, but even things like your belief system or like your thoughts, or like it's more like you're in flow with life and very in tune as well. I feel like a lot of you guys are always in tune, and maybe some of you are still working on that, but that's besides the point. The main message is things are going to be flowing for you more quickly. Things are being worked out of your system. You're going to be having a better time, especially. The next message is about abundance. They just said the road to abundance for you guys is being paved, so you are going to have a much better abundance journey. And sometimes, you know, you have a little bit of rockiness to your abundance journey because they're just shaking out beliefs that are in the way. They're forcing you to heal and look at yourself and deconstruct and reconstruct your engine around abundance so that you can be more abundant. Sometimes they're just divinely protecting you because if you got all your abundance right now, maybe it would go to the wrong people or the wrong situations, and then you wouldn't have any in the future. You know, there's a lot of reasons why that can happen that aren't, and sometimes it's not even always your fault. Sometimes you just have to work through the beliefs your parents handed you around abundance and heal that, and then get to a better place regarding that stuff. But for you guys, the road of abundance is being paved. You're going to have a much better abundance journey. They're almost saying like starting now for whatever you're seeing this. So you might just have an easier time with abundance going forward here. And if you feel like if you are being held back from it, you're going to realize what's holding you back and know how to change it pretty quickly here. Like it's not going to be a great mystery or like this unsolvable Rubik's Cube you're playing with for the next like 5 years. It's like you'll know better tomorrow or some really soon is what I'm getting. Next message that I got for you guys, life is being filled with joy. You are going to have a lot more joy in your life. So really positive messages so far for the water signs. They just showed your life being, they said your life is going to be filled with joy. You're going to be having more joy. Pretty self-explanatory. So the next message here, they show me a bag, and what they said is the things that have been stealing from your cups are leaving. And in the visual, the cups were in a bag. I don't know. I just bring through the messages. But the things that have been stealing from your cups are leaving. Things that have sucked the joy out of your life are leaving. The things that kept you from success are leaving, etc. You are realizing what you need for happiness. So let me see what else they have to say about this here. Bring the bag and the cups here. So if you feel like you've been dealing with any like thieves of joy, even if it's just been like the news on TV or like a certain like situation or a job, I feel like something's going to change where like things aren't stealing from your cup or your cups are more protected. They're almost showing it as a joke, like a sippy cup, you know, like the sippy cup lids that you put on the cups for kids so they can't like spill juice everywhere. They're almost showing like a wine glass with a sippy cup being put on it, or a sippy cup lid being put on it so it doesn't like just spill anywhere and people can't dip into your wine and contaminate it, or whatever metaphor you want to use for your cup being full. So a lot more divine protection for your joy is one thing I'm getting, interestingly enough, but also just more divine protection for your cups. So anything else on that message? I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory, but the other message is like where any of your cups have been stolen from you, they're being replaced. And by cup, I'm kind of using it as a metaphor a little bit as like one, like your energy, two, like your cup being full, like your life being full, you feeling filled up. But also things like joy, success, like these cups can represent a whole bunch of different things. It almost kind of reminds me of like the 10 of cups in tarot, essentially. But anywhere your cups have been stolen, they're being replaced by it is something I'm getting as well. So you're not going to be at a loss is a good thing coming through, which is good. Next message they brought through, they showed me a stuffed bear, like a like a stuffed animal, which I think came through in the general collective as well. But the message coming through for you guys was comfort. So here's where the comfort message came through. There's healing and comfort. Take 2 minutes to seek comfort and see how you feel. You don't need to stay there all the day. Just try it for a bit. So for some reason, there's this message, like sometimes seeking comfort can be healing. I know sometimes it can be, I know there's like a lot of messages in self-help about like comfort zone and leave your comfort zone for success, Tony Robbins. But really, in this instance, like especially like with emotional things or things, even mental things, just seeking like a brief amount of comfort if you're feeling like way overstimulated could be really helpful for you guys, is what I'm getting. So I would actually like do your best to comfort yourself and not feel like you should not have that for some reason. I feel like this is more emotional though, more so than it is about like a self-help book about leaving your comfort zone. So just keep that in mind. The next message I have for you is just a message about you guys being grown. I think the fire signs had a similar message, but this message is like, life is growing you quickly. There might be like quick lessons or stretches, but it will be easy. So just keep showing up and life is going to improve. So I feel like there's going to be like quick lessons or like you being stretched to help grow you, but I actually feel like this growth is going to come really easily to you. And I'm getting this really weird message, like a plant, like a tree doesn't need to strive in order to grow. It just does. It's part of its makeup. It's part of what it does. It's kind of like the same with you. I feel like you're just going to be growing really quickly in a natural way. And I don't feel like it's going to be super difficult either. And you know, sometimes the growth trajectory, we go through difficult things. Sometimes it's really easy and we're able to just kind of connect the dots and grow and move forward. And it's kind of like, they're showing it to me as like getting better at like a game, like, I don't know, hockey or something. Like if you want to, it can be really fun to like improve at playing hockey or something you enjoy doing. Like it's just fun. You're showing up, you're having fun passing the puck around or whatever. And some, of course, like sometimes you have to focus, you have to zero in, but it's like something you enjoy doing. So it's not like difficult necessarily. And of course it gets easier over time. But the other message that I liked for you guys is like, just keep showing up and life is going to improve. I feel like that's kind of just what you need to do, is keep showing up. I think a lot of things are really, I get that a lot of things are really taken care of for you guys as long as you're showing up, like showing up to work, showing up in your relationships, showing up for your business if you have a business. If you're showing up, things are going to improve is a message. I think something similar came through last week. But it's just a continuation of that if that came through for you guys recently as well in some other way. I also got like a quick side message, like you have the professionalism to succeed, many of you. So if you are worried about that for whatever reason, don't worry about that. You're good. And it showed up with the color brown, and they gave me the word acute with that as well, which did not make any sense. A fun fact with the color brown though, that I want to bring through as far as why that might have came through with that, is I have a friend of a friend essentially who can see aura and aura colors really, really clearly. That's like one of their things, I guess. And one thing that they said is like, there's certain professions like doctors who need to have like attention to detail, but in a good way, where like a color in their aura that goes along with that is like brown. I know like some people think of brown as like, oh, it's because it's not like it's muddy or bad, or dirty. It's more like, no, it's a color that's there to symbolize this thing. So for some reason that came through for you guys as like a way to bring that message through, like you have the professionalism you need to succeed. Don't know why that's coming through, but it is. So anything else for the water signs, sun, moon, and rising right now? Owl, spirit animal, is showing up as well. So what that means for you guys is like, you guys are covered where maybe you can't see certain things, or it's like, because owl can symbolize like hitting its prey or its target in the dark. Owl can also symbolize like, you know, like your back's covered. Like if you're not noticing certain things in life, like the divine has you, like you're good. Or you're going to see all you need to see, like you're just going to be shown it in some way, shape, or form. The owl is also a hunter, as another message they're bringing through. So you're also going to be showed the ways you need to hunt, the ways to hunt down what you need in life, whether it's relationships or anything. Like you're going to be shown like the sequence and order you need to take. You're going to be shown like how to go about it. Like you're kind of almost being like trained to be the hunter you need to be. And I don't mean going out and being a predator or being predatory necessarily. I mean more like, what does this metaphor mean? It could even be in business, like being shown how to go out and get clients, or how to market properly so that you can make money and provide food for yourself and your family, or etc. Is an example they're showing me for that. But you're gonna just be shown how to do those things, which is good. So anything else for you guys right now? Fully for your highest good here. I do feel like there are miracles coming in for the water signs as well. They're showing me light blue, and that to me symbolizes that can tie in with Mother Mary, which can also tie into miracles, and that's the way they took that message for me when they showed me the color light blue. So I would be inviting in miracles, but I do feel like there's going to be certain miraculous things happening, or just certain things happening as well for the water signs, sun, moon, or rising. I feel like that's mostly it, weirdly enough. I know these might have been a little bit shorter than they normally are, but I want to see if there's anything else before we totally close out the water signs reading here at this time. They are showing me candy. So where's this message going here? It's a little bit multifaceted, because one of the messages is about like sweetness and things being sweet. I feel like you are sweet, a lot of you, or like you're going to be bringing sweetness places. Maybe people will be calling you sweet is something I'm getting. The other thing they're tying that into is okay, one second, they're redirecting me. There is like an item from the game Pokemon, from, you know, when I was a kid, and it's called a rare candy. And what the rare candy did in this game, if anyone's not familiar, is it leveled up your Pokemon. So I want to see what they have to say about that, because they flashed the visual of like a rare candy and like the Pokemon, the original Pokemon game, like item screen, and like finding the rare candy in there. So what's the message here? And they are giving me the words level up in particular for you guys. So some of you are being brought, well, many of you are being brought the things you need to level up more quickly. Because the thing about like Pokemon is you'd have to go and like train your Pokemon and do Pokemon battles to gain the experience to level up your Pokemon. But with the rare candy, you just like give them the item and it just be like, whoop, instant level up. So I feel like you guys are being given what you need to level up quickly and not just like slowly or over time, which is good. And some of you might find that you already have leveled up and didn't realize it, and you'll just kind of be realizing that over the course of the next little while is something I'm getting as well. Or a combination of both. Maybe it's just a level up season for you guys. Excuse me. I'm also getting this message though, like if you're leveling up, it's because you need to, and it really fits your path and your purpose right now. Not that you can't just level up willy-nilly, but right now that's the message for you guys. They're also showing me an alligator for water signs, sun, moon, and rising. So what's this about here? And they're also giving me the message like watch your tail. So let me see what this even means here. They're giving me this message in a really weird way where it's like an alligator is a vicious creature. Like you don't mess with the alligator, but it can still be vulnerable from behind. And what does that have to do with you guys? One second. Can I please get clarity on the message? Or just show me it, please? I don't think you need to worry too much about this message, but the way they're giving me the words is like maybe it's a good idea to just pay extra attention and not just kind of go willy-nilly about things through your life, but like paying attention to people and like what they're saying. And I don't want you to be like overly suspicious or overly cautious and like scrutinizing everyone and being paranoid. That's not really the message. I think it's just a reminder, like, you know, maybe not every single person has your best interest, unfortunately, with the world that we live in. And it's just important to not just assume that you're totally good because you're an alligator, if that makes sense. It's like, yes, you're divinely protected. Yes, you're divinely watched over. But don't just assume everything's fine about everyone. But I feel like if you're paying attention, you're working with your intuition, you're going to know. And I think Owl Spirit Animal did show up with you guys as well, just knowing like you're taken care of in a lot of those ways. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just don't be exposing your vulnerable back to just anyone metaphorically, if that makes sense. I think that's it though for the water signs. There might be like one more here. And actually they're kind of bringing through a message for everyone here. I feel like this is a message that's just been coming through very strongly like this whole year, but they're bringing it back again as like there's just expanded magic coming for everybody here. I feel like magic is just becoming more of a way of being, and what do I mean by that? Like synchronicity, manifestation, things like energy healing, miracles, intuition, channeling. even mediumship, things like that. Like magic is just going to become more of a way of being for this crowd. It's like it's what you're moving towards, and it's what everyone is leveling up to is something I'm getting as well, which is good. And the universe needs magic, like the world needs magic, and it's actually supposed to be magical. It was kind of meant to be that way, or it's meant to be that way in the future. So the more you're doing that, the better, and you don't need to force it to happen. I feel like it's the way things are headed, but just know you're meant for magic, essentially, is what I'm getting for everyone here. So that's it. So that's it as far as what I'm getting for the water signs, sun, moon, and rising. I'm going to see, they do want to do a full channel mode message, so I'm going to do that in a second here for you guys. So source, soul source, do you guys, is there any kind of forum yet, Discord or anything else? I'm still working on that. I will say one thing that happened was I created a forum on my website, and as I was putting it together, I was really getting the knowing, the message. I was really feeling it and just hearing like it needed to be for members, for like a membership. So I do have a forum, and like right now it's just like $1 a month or something to be a part of it. Part of that is just, okay, I was gonna say something they don't want me to say, but what do you guys want me to say? You're welcome to join if you want. Right now it's on my website. It's I mean, again, it's like $1 a month, just it's to help cover website costs, I guess. It's pretty empty right now. There's not a whole lot of people signed up. Eventually, my idea is to transition it into a forum for like members, like who participate in like a membership of some sort, which I really kind of have ready to go. I just need to put certain things together and launch it, and it just hasn't happened yet for some reason. So I don't know if you guys have any other suggestions for how to do that, or any other suggestions you'd want to see as far as like a forum for everyone to come together on. But that is there now if you're interested. I'm curious if there's a better one though. And I'll say it, like the other thing the forum was going to be was like, it was almost going to be like the membership I was building was almost kind of akin to like a Patreon type thing, but it was just through my own website. And there was going to be like just a $2, like $1 or $2 just like support tier, I guess you could say, where it was like access to the forum was like part of that. So I don't know if there's a better like free version I could do for everyone or what, but that's just what I have built right now. And it was on my own. It was built on my own, or through a website program that would take care of it. So the full channel mode thing is going to be for everybody, not just for a particular sign. Hi, Kitty. Hi. Yeah, I know. I'm excited too. I don't know if you can hear the Discord would be cool. Yeah, I've never done Discord before, but I can definitely look into getting that together for everybody. So maybe I'll just look into doing a Discord and just put that together really quickly. And we'll see what happens. Okay, so we're gonna jump to the full channel, and then maybe we can hang out afterwards. We'll see what they have me do. So fully for that is good. I'm just gonna take a minute I'm gonna take some water. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Nice shirt. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to see if they give me a theme. One second, I'm going to do this. Okay, so fully flat skin. Hi. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to jump into full channel mode. So just channeling my spirit guides, the angels, and source. For anyone new tuning in or didn't catch it a different time, the name my spirit guides gave me for them is the Angelic Collective of Zorbital. If you've read the book that I launched a couple years ago, you know that already. And it's the angels, it's source, it's my spirit guides, so that's who I channel. As far as a theme for what this one is about here, I'm getting a message of upshift, so I am guessing this message will be either it'll be causing an upshift or causing an upshift. And it might be about the future too. So fully for that is good. Give me 1 minute and then they'll start speaking through me, and you'll know when they do that. So I'm gonna step my Do you have something to say, Jericho, before I start channeling? Welcome, and welcome to this day and to this live or whenever you are watching it. For Christmas season is upon us, and we do not mean your human Christmas season. We are talking about a period where you are being gifted by the divine, in a sense, where your gifts are expanding, your gifts are opening up, your intuition is rising, and you are receiving what is for you. So we urge you to open to receive all the gifts that the divine has in store for you, for the divine has so much in store for you, more than you could ever imagine. And the divine is infinitely giving. The divine is infinite. It is also infinitely intelligent, infinitely wise, infinitely compassionate, unconditionally loving. So it knows when to give and when to hold back. It knows the timing of these things, so you get the utmost most from them. But it is time to receive. So we implore you to open to receive, ask to receive. And you can do this simply by saying, universe, I open to receive in the highest and best ways. Universe, help me to open to receive in the highest and best ways. I am willing. And simply setting that intention to open to receive will move you in that direction. Will open you to receive more. For the gifts coming in are undeniable. Your own gifts, blessings around you from your life. It will be like a Christmas season energetically. And we do not say this saying that all your life's problems will dissolve overnight tomorrow. Some of them may. Maybe for some of you they will. But we are saying this because, again, it is time to receive. Each of you has so much more for you than you realize. So much the universe wants to give you. So much that you are here to receive. So much that you are meant for. People you're meant to impact. Lives you're meant to change. People meant to change your life. And you are worthy. Always infinitely worthy. Some of you may be in the process of being brought to you feeling worthy and knowing you're worthy. Some of you are being brought to a place where you believe your worthiness. And some of you are being brought to a place where you're ready to receive what you know you are worthy of. For there are a lot of human beliefs being rewired right now for each of you, for many on the planet. And anyone who is willing to receive will. But as your beliefs shift, so too does your reality. As your beliefs shift regarding what you can receive, so too does what you receive. You are learning the mastery of as above, so below. You are learning the mastery of your resonance attracting what is for you. And part of the encodement of this message is, of course, receiving. But also you shifting your beliefs to receive. So following this message, you may find certain events play out to shift your beliefs. You may find yourself thinking differently, but let it play out. This will play out differently for each of you. There's a great healing around receiving occurring for the collective at this time, the world over. For that is what has inhibited many of you from creating the life you desire. Receiving the information to get there. Receiving the joy and the feelings of worthiness. Receiving what you are. Receiving the knowing of what you are. And many of you are taught to, or were taught to, not know. Many humans are. But in a sense, you know everything. You are everything. You can have the knowing of anything. Part of receiving can also be learning that you can know. It's okay to receive that information. It's okay to upshift your intuition. It's okay to know anything, even if you were taught that you can't, or taught that it was bad to know things, as in certain cultures it might have been. But as you connect in with your knowing, with your intuition, you can be led into receiving what is for you. You can be led into knowing how to receive. And this leads us back to an earlier message. The divine is infinite, infinitely giving. It is giving all of the time. It is giving life, it is giving energy. Is channeling through individuals. It is sustaining existence. It is existence. So you are all infinitely receiving from the universe all of the time. In your human form. And as you realize this, perhaps you can open to receiving more in the physical, from others. For the universe works through others. The universe can work through other people to give you what you asked for. Perhaps you are manifesting a car and a parent offers to buy you a car. Perhaps you are asking for a laptop and your friend says, "Oh, I have an extra old one here. Let me give this to you." The universe works through all these infinite different avenues to bring you what's for you. But you are learning how this works on every level. For so too can you ask for something energetically and receive it. Ask for your intuition to enhance. Ask to upshift energetically. Ask that your channeling increases. Ask that you're the best version of you. You can step into these things energetically and receive them. And once you realize that, you can receive anything. Take a second to sit with your beliefs of worthiness. We are going to do a rewiring process. What have you been taught as a child that you are worthy of? What have you been taught by your friends that you are worthy of? In childhood? In more recent years? What have you been taught by the news that you are worthy of? By TV shows? And simply know that unless they said you are infinitely worthy, they were wrong. For you would not be here if you were not infinitely worthy. You would not be on earth if you were not infinitely worthy to receive. So whatever those beliefs were that were handed to you by others, visualize them as balls of light in front of you. And you may see the words that they gave you, descriptions, adjectives of you that are not the lightest. And see the word worthy drawn over these balls of light. Replace any adjectives that do not serve with the word worthy. And see these balls of light with the word worthy drawn on them, absorbed into your being, into your body, and let them go wherever they need to go to shift your beliefs for the highest good. This is an energetic worthiness exercise. And you can do that at any time. Picture your beliefs in front of you as balls of light. Intuitively, you may see those words that are there. And simply write the word or frequency that you want. And absorb those balls of light. Let them go where they need to go and do what they need to do. And that will begin to shift your belief system in the highest and best ways. You are headed towards an upshift in receiving. You are headed towards an upshift in yourselves towards receiving. And as you upshift your receiving, everything upshifts. Because you are not limiting your experience. And when you do not limit your experience, you can experience anything. When you do not limit your experience, you can experience anything. And you're all meant to experience everything you came here to experience. And you can all upshift your experience. One, by upshifting your receiving, but two, simply by asking that your experience is upshifted. And maybe not everything changes right away, but your experience will upshift. You are infinitely worthy of the best experience you could imagine for yourself, and better. And you are not limited to even that. And while everything might not be perfect on Earth to a human perspective, it does not mean things cannot get better. It does not mean things cannot improve. So do not limit your future to your past, to the now. And know that the universe has infinite devices to improve the future, to upshift your experience, to bring you healing, to bring you joy, to bring you satisfaction, to bring you what is for you. For the future is about to upshift. The timelines are about to change, and things are going to be better. Again, it does not mean all the world's issues will resolve overnight, but you may find your personal life enhancing, your personal ways enhancing, your relationships improving, things shuffling around until they are improved. You are not meant to stay stuck in the same past, the same timeline, the same mood forever, for a life. And this is a life of change that all of you signed up for, not a one of stagnancy or sameness. You are all venturing into new trajectories, energetically at the very least. And it is important that you continually cast your wishes out to the universe to improve the trajectory. You are meant to be enhancing things on Earth through your will, actions, energetically. And you do so just by being here, yes. Simultaneously, by asking for better, you are creating the future and a timeline of better. Your wishes are doing more than just creating for you. Your intentions are doing more than just creating for you. They are creating for everyone, and maybe not directly, but the improvement of your life is the improvement of the life for all. And of course, this is not the case if it is at the expense for others necessarily, but none of you are like that. Not on purpose. And the universe honors that. And right now we are healing your willingness to receive and healing all that is holding you back from the best future timelines. And you may find a bit of a purge over the next few days following this message. Emotional, energetic, and that is okay. You're simply opening the road to a higher trajectory and creating your future in a better way. We also urge you to open to your healing at this time, for as you heal, you are receiving. You are receiving the healing. You are receiving the better you. And there's a lot of healing coming in yet, despite how much has already occurred. And the healing is getting easier. It's becoming more of a natural state for many to always be healing, to be running that healing through them. This is not a bad thing. It's as needed. And healing will get easier on Earth until it is always there as needed. Until it is always available to anyone who is ready to heal. And do not discount your role as a healer, as someone who is into this sort of thing, listening to these sort of messages, whether with this one channeling or another. You are bringing a higher frequency to everyone. You are bringing healing to everyone you meet, just by being at a higher resonance. And it is not hierarchical. It is fact. It is frequency. It doesn't make you better than anyone. It just makes you there. And that is the message and the frequency we wish to live you with. A message of receiving, a message of opening to the gifts the universe has in store for you. For you are about to venture into a season of many gifts, opening up for you, coming in for you, coming in for the collective, but specifically for those of you tuning into this message. And that alone, we hope, is enough to spark joy for starters. We leave you in peace and wishing you the best. Take care. We are signing out for now. Oof. Hope that one was good. Gonna take a second. Oof. Oh. You guys are welcome. You guys are welcome. Prince Priestess, B, are you aware of what comes through? Do you get any of those messages? I'd say I am aware. Like I kind of like watch what's coming through. Like I'm hearing it, I'm watching it. I'm not sure if I'm explaining it the best, but I do tend to forget what comes through afterwards until I rewatch it. I'm like, oh, that was pretty good. So like, hopefully it was good for you guys though. But you guys are welcome, absolutely. You guys are welcome. I hope this was helpful and did whatever was highest and best for it to do, fully for the highest good, period. And oh man, I still feel like sometimes when I go into a channel mode, especially for like longer periods of time, it just feels like I'm coming out of a dream, or it's like, did that even just happen? Or so, I don't know. My big 3 are water, and the moment you said flow, I started to cry. It was all what I needed. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Thank you, Destiny. I'm glad to hear it. Body is still pulsing from beautiful energy. Awesome. Yeah, and that's a big part of the channeled messages as well, is the energetic transmission that occurs with it. That's a huge part of what happens with the channeling, like the energy work that happens with that energetic transmission. Fully for that is good. Can I ask you how do you start channeling? Like, what was the tipping point from the Shaman King? So it's interesting because sometimes when someone asks me like, when did you start channeling, my guides will jump in and be like, you've been channeling your whole life. As far as like the tipping point though, there was a time in like 2017, it was at like maybe ironically slightly enough, it was like actually a Christian metaphysical boot camp, which I don't really ascribe to a lot of those beliefs really anymore. But one thing that I did gain from that, this men's retreat, was the people leading it would have a ton of stories and would have this whole thing of like, you know, talking to God wasn't just for people in the Old Testament, you can do it now too. And then when I tried it, I got an answer. Like I got an answer. And I was like, oh. And so once that happens, it's like, well, you can't just put that away, you know? What did end up happening like 6 months later was there was a woman who just came into the place I worked at the time and just gave me her book. And her name was Natha. It was like Natha J. And she gave me, her book was like Waking Indigo. And at the time that was like a perfect match for like all the things I was questioning and all the things I was thinking about. Cause I was like really starting to question a lot of what the Christian beliefs were at that time. And it's not like I was even necessarily Christian going into that boot camp either. It was interesting because I grew up Catholic and then I was like, no, I know this isn't true, but I know there's still like a God, I know there's still spirituality. So then I kind of took my own journey away from it for a time, and then eventually my mom was like, oh, I want you to go to this Christian thing, and I was like, oh, fine, why not? And so I went to that and that's kind of what reintroduced me to that side of things. But then I got led away from it really quickly again with because this woman also, like, she channeled her book and she talked about channeling, and then I found myself pretty much like that. My life kind of blew up around that time period because I got into like numerology and things, and then I started looking at the relationship I was in, and then it literally was just like, yeah, this relationship's not going to last, and so then it ended. There's a whole story that I don't know if I have time to venture into the whole thing, but I was suddenly just surrounded by a lot of people who just kind of came out of the woodwork who could channel or like who were already into it. I just didn't know it at the time, you know, that I worked with, or just like people I met. And I was very willing to just like meet people at that time and like just talk about spirituality. So I got like a lot of like an inundation of the experience of people channeling for me. And I really feel like, to me, that was like the universe being like, yeah, you're supposed to do this. Like, here's your starting point, or your, I don't know. But I'd say like another tipping point, because after that I started to actually talk to my spirit guides, like the angels, more, and like get messages. I wouldn't say I was really, I mean, I didn't get to the place to where I'm at now with it until I think the time I started to get closer to where I'm at now is like 2020, honestly. But I went through, like, I learned Reiki, I learned another energy work modality, and I found like with the attunements as well, because I learned this particular energy work modality, and after like the 4th class of this other one and the 4th attunement, I found like that full channel mode would happen more, because before I would like hear messages, and sometimes it wasn't always like 100% like clear for me, or like it was still like a work in progress. I was still working through things. But after that, like I'd have that moment where I'd feel the energy like come over me, like my guides like start to channel through me. And I didn't necessarily get the channeling coming through at that point, but I knew what was happening. And so like by the end of the year, like 2018, I'd say, was more like when I'd start to bring through like the full channel mode message. And then 2019 was a huge ramp up where I'd start to channel messages for people and just give them notes that I was, as my guides would tell me to, like they'd be like, okay, we're gonna channel notes. And so I'd channel like a message and like tear out the piece of paper, fold it up, put it in my pocket, and then I'd be going about my day, like at work or something, and then like someone would come up to me, and like I'd be talking to them, and then my guides would be like, give them the note. I'd be like, what? And like it was kind of like really nerve-wracking at the time, because I hadn't really done that for people before. But then I'd take out the note and give it to them, and then they'd read it right then. And it was like, one instance that I thought was amazing was I gave it to the person, and it was like a line-by-line response to like everything they had just told me. Like they were just kind of talking about their life and things they were going through, and then my guys were like, give them the note, and I gave it to them, and it was like a line-by-line response to everything they just said. And they're like, what? And other times it'd be like, I'd give them the note, and then they'd come back to me like an hour later. I'd be like, oh man, I was just thinking about this morning. That's crazy. Like, and so like that was some of my my validation that it was real and I could do it, and I probably should be doing it maybe, or just to keep going. And then 2020, my gifts really took off, I'd say, where I was like, I could just sit and talk and just get the messages for someone the whole conversation. I could just go full channel mode really easily. Like that was really where it like ramped up a lot. And then of course 2021 to now is when I started doing more like professional. Like I'd already been playing with readings and doing energy work and getting messages for people. Like I've been doing that for years, but I really started doing it more professionally like 2021, I suppose you could say, where it was like, it was time. And so now here we are. So that's more about the story about how I started channeling, I suppose, if that makes sense. K Wildberry, I do personal readings just through the link in my bio. You can book through my website if that resonates, if you want to, if you call to. Whoop. Oh, sorry. I don't know if the comments are delayed here. Calaberry, sounds similar to my journey. Mine is going to a Christian thing. Church never resonated with me. That's fair. I don't know if church really resonated for me. And the Christian retreat wasn't really church, and they were very weirdly like against religion. They were more like, no, it's about spirituality. It's about your actual connection. But then they also just had some really weird beliefs baked into that didn't resonate with me, and just, that I get now are just not true too. Hey B, do they have any advice for integrating all the messages for multiple elements? Hey Jen, how's it going? Perspicuous, do they have any advice for integrating all the messages for multiple elements in one's big three? Great question. Let me see here what they have to say about that. They're saying, like, if there are any messages that are conflicting, one, go with the one that feels best for you at that time. Two, more than likely they're actually not conflicting. They're either about different areas of life, or they actually fit together in an intricate way that makes sense. And like a common one that comes up, I think, is like when the messages come through is like take action and move forward, but rest, when you're kind of getting those messages simultaneously, because it's like it seems conflicting, but it could just be like, like make sure you're getting your full 8-9 hours of sleep at night, and like when you're not moving forward or taking action, like make sure like you're actually resting and not like, I don't know, going out and partying all night or something like that. Or it could just be, it's like take action and then rest, or just find the right balance between the two, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense as far as like, as a way to integrate that. Hopefully that's what you were even talking about as far as, scars stand strong. What does big three mean? So by big three, they were talking about, your astrology sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign. Those are typically denoted as the big three in astrology for a being. Cool. But hopefully that answers that, Prince Priestess, or gets it in the right direction to answering that. Also on an energy healing path. Heck yeah. Go Rocket. Cool. Glad to hear it. Okay. Totally, that was exactly it. Perfect. Glad to hear it. Okay, I am going to end the live, I think. Looks like the cat's knocked a bunch of things around now that I'm looking at the floor. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I'm gonna end the live here. They're just telling me to end the live here, but I hope this was all awesome for you guys and was helpful just with the messages, with the channeling, with all of it. Are you gonna be doing Monday mantras for the week this Monday? Yeah, I'm gonna be, I've been doing the weekly mantras, so I'm gonna be doing my best to post that today on my Instagram, and I'll probably put it on my TikTok story as well, but I've been posting those to my Instagram, and then my other plan is I just do channeled messages, like an energy update for the week ahead, so I'll be doing my best to post that today as well. And that's the plan. But yeah, I'll have the channel mantra for the week coming up soon too. Thank you guys. I love you guys too. But I appreciate you. It was a blast. Well, I really appreciate getting to do this for you guys. It's always an honor. And I was gonna see if I should promote things, but they said nope, no promotion, just send it. So that'll be it. Do you do mujas? Not necessarily. I mean, I've played around with them. I'll do them sometimes, and I always feel the energy shift when I do it. I always feel it, but I don't necessarily always do it, if that makes sense. So, all right, you guys, have a great rest of your day and week, and I will see you next week, probably at about 11 or maybe 11:11, because it seems to be about 11:11 that I start the lives instead of 11 a.m. Central Time. So if you're in a different time zone, of course it'll be different. But all right, love you guys. You guys take care, okay?